Welcome back. As registration weekend kicks off, eNCA reporter Phakamile Hlubi joins us on the line via Skype now from Tlokwe in the northwest to tell us just how registration is going so far. Very good morning to you, Phakamile. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Tlokwe has been in the spotlight recently and has been the subject of much contestation. Can you tell us a bit more about how registration is going so far?
Good morning, Simpiwe. So far this morning, there's been a bit of a late start at some of the voting stations in Potchefstroom. We've heard reports of several polling or registration stations opening late, whether it's a few minutes late, in some cases up to 30 minutes late. Particularly where I am right now, which is at Potchefstroom Central, there was an issue around the machine which was required to assist those who are confirming addresses. I think it's called a VVD machine. I could be mistaken about this pronunciation, but particularly that machine had not yet arrived and was slowing down the registration process. In fact, as we got here, some people were actually leaving because they'd been waiting for so long and felt that they would come back at a later stage. But at the time when we got here, the machine arrived and very quickly the process took off. People started completing their registrations more quickly and it happened much more swiftly. What we understand, though, overall, that besides the late start, it seems that things have taken off. It does seem that there are no incidents as yet to report of in this particular area regarding registration. There are several centers dotted around various places in and around Potchefstroom Central, which is the town, but also in eNCA, the neighboring township. And our understanding is that whilst there have been some delays in opening, their registration has taken off fairly smoothly.
Now, Phakamile, out of all the municipalities and voter communities across the country, why is Tlokwe that significant?
Well, Tlokwe has really risen to significance in the last couple of years. You'll remember that there was a by-election that took place in 2013. And it was at that by-election where it was picked up that irregularities occurred in Tlokwe. About just over 1,000 people who were not eligible to vote in particular wards were actually able to vote in that particular election. Several independents picked up on this irregularity, raised the flag, and the issue was taken up at the Electoral Court where they lost, but subsequently it was appealed at the Constitutional Court late last year, where the Constitutional Court then set aside the by-election results in Tlokwe in several of those wards because of the irregularities that took place. Because of the fact that over 1,000 people were allowed to vote who were ineligible to vote, the Constitutional Court decided to set aside that decision and forced the IEC to hold by-elections again in that area to remedy the situation. What was also picked up was the fact that the voters' roll had been given to candidates which did not have all the address details of all the potential voters who could vote in an area. Why this is important, Simpiwe, is that number one, if you are a candidate who is contesting elections, whether it's by-elections or local government elections, in that voters' roll you need to have the details not just of the candidate or not just of the person that you of the voters, but there must also be the address details of the voters. That information is supposed to help candidates to campaign. It allows them to get access. It's part of the laws. It allows them to literally go door to door and campaign with prospective voters, tell them about who they are. It's information that's given to political parties. It's not just given to independents for them to campaign. But also, what the Constitutional Court was trying to say was they were trying to force the IEC to really make sure that those people who are registered to vote in particular wards are the correct people who are registered to vote in that area. The reason this becomes a problem is if you have a voter's roll which is full of names but no addresses, it creates a possibility for electoral fraud to take place, in the sense that where people are bussed in from other districts, people who perhaps do not have the right to vote in that district, are then allowed to come into a district because their names are on the voters' roll, but yet they're not actually eligible to be voting in that particular area. So that is why the Constitutional Court made an order that not only are the voters' roll supposed to be given to candidates in good time before the election takes place, that voters' roll must be given all the address information. And where no address details can be provided, the IEC must, for itself, gain sufficient particularities. In other words, they must get enough information that will allow them to at least verify that the people who are on the roll have the right to be in that particular district and are eligible to vote in that particular area.
Right. Now, Phakamile, we do know that Tlokwe remains one of those municipalities which will be closely watched as registration weekend picks up. And we'll definitely be in touch with you later for more details regarding that. Thank you so much for joining us. That was the eNCA reporter, Phakamile Hlubi, speaking to us via Skype from Tlokwe.